Live now to get her take on this and more. Alabama Senator Katie Britt. Senator, first of all, welcome.
Well, Ed, thank you so much for having me on, and congratulations on your new show.
I really appreciate that.
Everyone is excited to dial in, and I appreciate you bringing the news straight to the people.
All right, well, we're going to get you on a lot. I really appreciate that. If Barack Obama was willing to show his ID to vote, how is the SAVE Act racist, as your colleague Schumer says?
It is absolutely not. Look, this is yet another example of Democrats being on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue. We saw it with immigration and securing the border. We saw it with boys playing in girls' sports. We're seeing it now with, just actual ridiculousness when it comes to transgender children and allowing mutilization of bodies. It's unbelievable. And this is yet another example of it. Look, I spoke with President Trump this morning, and this is his top priority, ensuring that every American has the opportunity to vote and that they can make sure that the safety and security of that vote is seen through. And this is how we do it. We do it by making sure that we have citizens that are actually the ones that are registering to vote, and that you show that ID so that when you go in to pull your ballot, they know it's you. I mean, and think about this. Yeah. What if you got to the ballot, to the ballot box and asked for that ID and they said it's already been taken? We don't want people to steal your property. We certainly don't want them to steal your vote. This gives Americans certainty that their elections are free and fair, and it is an 80-20 issue. So I am unsure what Schumer is saying about this, but what I do know is the American people are with us. President Trump is on a mission, and I am really proud of my colleague Mike Lee for continuing to push this. I think he's continuing to build momentum. The American public is helping us bring this to the forefront, and so we got to keep going.
Well, we need the American people to speak out against some of the Republicans too, because if you got that call from the president this morning, and it's his top priority, it's common sense, 80-20, as you say. Why would your colleague Lisa Murkowski, who caucuses with you and the Republicans, Susan Collins, we're putting their faces up there. Mitch McConnell and John Thune have been a little vague about this. What is it going to take to get Republicans on board to make sure it goes through the Senate too?
Look, we had a great conversation yesterday in Republican conference. We had it kind of laid out of like what this means and how we would do this. Mike Lee did a great job presenting this to the conference. A lot of good back and forth about how do we make sure that we get this done. So I feel good about the momentum we're building. I saw Senator Lee just put out that he has the 40th co-sponsor on this. So we need the American public to continue to speak up. We are certainly working it internally. President Trump said, look, we got to get this done now. He knows that Americans need confidence in their elections. And when you look, Ed, across the country, country after country after country requires ID to vote because they know how precious this is. They know what an incredible right this is, and they want to protect it for their citizens.
Absolutely.
That's what we should be doing. And look, Democrats are also asking for us to protect illegal immigrants at polling places, Ed. If illegal immigrants are not at polling places, why do they need to be protected there? So I think we're starting to expose a lot of their hypocrisy, and we're going to keep going and work to get this done.
Absolutely. I got two other real quick ones, one on social media, the other on illegal immigration. You wrote a letter to Meta last week saying you want more safeguards on their platforms. There's a big social media trial out in California. You and others know about this. What do you want from Meta, Instagram, Facebook?
Just do the right thing. Goodness gracious, if you can make these machines that obviously, attract young people and are able to do kind of almost the unthinkable, you can certainly put up the proper guardrails to keep our kids safe. Look, I am tired of sitting across from parent after parent who tells me about somebody taking advantage of their child online, that tells me about AI chatbots and what they've done to their children online, that tells me about their child buying something, a drug or a sextortion or all kinds of things online. They know what's happening. We continually expose that they do, and now they need to actually do something about it. They cannot continue to hide behind a liability shield. At some point, there has to be accountability. We know what's happening to our next generation, and I think it is incumbent upon us as legislators to help push for them to either put the proper guardrails up themselves or us help do that for them.
Real quick, in your home state, we're hearing about 2 illegal aliens released into America under Joe Biden. There were millions of them. Just arrested for kidnapping a woman and her 2 kids. And meantime, your Democrat colleagues in the Capitol there, where you are, Senate Russell Building, they're trying to block ICE funding to make sure criminals like this are deported.
Yeah.
Your final thought.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. We just heard them come out. Look, it's just like 2020 all over again. Defund the police. Now we're hearing them say defund ICE. Look, ICE works diligently to keep Americans safe. When we're thinking about criminal illegal aliens that continue to be released back into society, into communities because of lack of cooperation with regards to sanctuary cities, we've got a lot of work to do. We've got to make sure that ICE is fully funded. We've got to make sure that we give them the tools to keep themselves safe and keep communities safe. And then we've got to defund and do away with sanctuary cities. So the fact that we have people in this building saying that we don't need to fund Homeland Security is just absolutely ridiculous, because Homeland Security actually keeps Americans safe. Absolutely.
We're glad you're calling it out. We had Tuberville on last week. Send a shout out to Auburn. Senator Britt, thank you, and roll Tide.
Oh, well then, hey, roll Tide.
Yeah, there you go. I got it in there.